back to my beauty space. My name is Lara Omar. Today I'm going to be sharing one of my most favorite foundations in the entire world, one of the most buildable foundations, one of the most beautiful foundations that appears to wear even better the longer that it sits on the skin. This is a MAC Cosmetics underrated foundation, and this is the MAC Studio Fix Tech. Today I'm going to show you all about how I use this foundation. I'm going to show you the best techniques to wear it, what brushes to use with it, and how to ultimately maximize the product. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel so I can keep posting more of these videos. So Studio Fix Tech is ultimately a cream to powder foundation. This foundation stays long wearing and color true for 12 hours. It's non-caking, non-fading, and sweat and humidity resistant. Now I find that the cream to powder formula in this foundation makes it look incredible on the skin. It's what makes it look better for the entire 12 hours that it can be on your face. I personally have witnessed this foundation look just as good, if not better, towards the end of the day after I've worn it for hours and hours and hours. It just keeps looking better and it never fades the color. It always stays color true on me. This is the shade NC25. There's also light diffusing properties in this foundation built into the formula, which makes it so that way if you're in any type of lighting, natural lighting, studio lighting, in front of a camera, or in real life, this foundation mimics the appearance of true skin and it wears into oily skin beautifully because I have combination skin with a little bit of oil in my T-zone. However, I find that as long as I wear this foundation, my skin looks juicy, it looks fresh, it looks very, very hydrated, even though it is a cream to powder formula, and it does have a natural matte finish, so it's not ultimately going to give you glow unless you use a very glowy primer underneath and you try to lean back with the powder a bit. Let's get into how I like to wear this foundation and all my favorite techniques to make this feel incredible on my skin. So one of the reasons why I really love this foundation is because the formula itself provides enough moisture right whenever you put it on, and the moisture maintains itself throughout the day as you wear it. So you never will put it on, feel moisturized, and then later you're gonna feel like your skin is like dry. That will never happen with this foundation. I used to love to apply it with a nice dense big brush like this because it fits in perfectly, the compact. However, I find that using too dense of a brush like this MAC 170 brush, which is one of my most favorite foundation brushes of all time, it just doesn't apply this foundation in the best way. It applies it really, really nice, but it kind of makes it full coverage right away. So I found that this brush, something that is a little bit fluffier while still being dense, this is the MAC 109. You can already tell that it's so dense. The bristles are nice and compact. The top of the brush is still so fluffy, so that way whenever you apply it, it still maintains the texture and it doesn't get all flimsy like this. This is with applying an extreme amount of pressure, but this just tapping and buffing very normally, the brush still maintains its look and structure. So with a cream to powder foundation like this, a brush like this is going to be incredible. For me personally, because I have combination skin, I don't like my skin to be overly matte. So if you do want your skin to be more matte, I would go in with the MAC Studio Fix Mattifying. This delivers 12-hour shine control. This primer is extremely mattifying with a very, very natural finish. For me, however, because I like a little bit more glow personally with my makeup and a bit more radiance, I prefer to opt for the MAC Studio Radiance Illuminating Moisturizing Silky Primer. Whenever you put on a illuminating radiant primer underneath of your foundation, you are essentially altering the texture of the foundation for short term. It's not going to provide long-term skincare benefits as if you were going in to use a product like MAC Seramizer, which is one of my favorites. So I like to apply this foundation and I put it all over my face, but specifically on the upper high parts of my cheeks. It's so beautiful. It's seriously one of the best primers ever. I know you guys might be confused because it's like, Lara, you have combination skin. Why would you want to look more glowy? Wouldn't you want to control your oil? My answer is no. I actually don't want to look matte because I find that because I've started to incorporate more radiance primers, more radiant foundations into my routine, my skin has produced less oil over time. My skin is not nearly as oily as it used to be before when I was only using matte products and a lot of powder. So let's go into Studio Fix Tech, and I am going to show you the ultimate and only way to use this for the best results. So you might think, oh my god, it's a cream foundation, I want to just like put a bunch on my brush and see a swipe of immediate coverage. But that's not how you want to work with this foundation. Tap, tap, tap. Barely anything on the brush, that will be enough for my whole face. So let's go ahead and apply it in the center parts of the face. And let's see how this blends out.
As you can see, such a tiny amount of this foundation goes such a long way. So you really do need to have self-control when you use this foundation, because as you can see, that tiny 3 taps that I did placed symmetrically all over my face is enough to cover the areas that I mainly want coverage, which is in the center of my face. Then I slowly start to work my way out. I start to blend further back to my cheeks. It looks like my skin. My skin, you can still see all of my beauty marks and all of my beautiful imperfections. It's so natural.
You can tell already how it very much so perfected and enhanced the evenness of my skin. It didn't provide an insane amount of coverage. And because of the primer and the skin prep that I did before sitting down to film this video, it looks very skin-like, and there is a very soft glow from within my skin that you were able to pick up on and on camera. It's honestly beautiful, and let's say that this isn't enough coverage for you, you would go in with literally 2 taps, and you can see that is how much is on the brush. So I started already in the center of my face. Now let's try to bring it out a bit on the cheeks. Kind of lay down the product first. A little bit on my nose. Lay down the product everywhere symmetrically and evenly, so that way whenever you start to go in, you could do this type of motion to blend out. But for me personally, I prefer a stamping and buffing motion.
The Studio Fix foundation has a tri-system blend of water, emollients, and powder. So what this does is it makes the foundation glide so effortlessly in a soft and creamy emulsion, and it's so lightweight that it gives you buildable medium coverage. Here you can see my skin is slightly more elevated. The center of my face is way more perfected where I focus the product.
My skin looks absolutely flawless, and personally, the foundation almost appears invisible, even though it clearly has perfected my skin, evened out my skin tone, and gotten rid of any significant imperfections. It's beautiful, and I did not apply it all over my face as well. I kept it more in the center parts where I needed the most coverage. If you find that this is the perfect amount of coverage for you, then you can go ahead and just continue on with the rest of your makeup, such as highlighting, contouring, concealing, putting on blush and powder, and all that good stuff. However, for a natural day-to-day, this is pretty much fine. It almost looks like I'm not wearing anything. For me personally, all I would add is some bronzer, contour, and concealer, and I would be out the door. For part 2 of this video, I'm going to show you guys how I will elevate my skin today, how I will elevate this routine and make it have a little bit more elements, so that way I would feel comfortable personally to go out into the world and feel like I am looking my absolute best. The first thing I'm going to do is start to cream contour and cream bronze, and I'm taking this MAC Pro face palette. This is a Pro product from MAC, and it is a bronzer and contour palette with 4 beautiful shades. These 2 shades right here are ideal for contour because they have a cool gray undertone, and then these 2 opposite of each other are more warm tone bronzers with a little bit of orange undertone in them. So I would use this to add bronziness and warmth all over my face, and I'd use these 2 to add a little bit more structure. Using any brush to apply, I'm going to go in with this deep brown color right here, and I'm going to lightly add a little bit of warmth. I'm adding the cream bronzer only in the areas that I did not already apply foundation. So the foundation is more in the center, and the cream contour and the cream bronzer will be around to add structure while not adding extra layers of coverage unnecessarily. So I did not put any foundation right here, and I want to use as little products as possible while have it be as natural as possible. Next, I'm going to go into this deeper cool tone shade, and I'm going to be very specific about where I apply this. I'm only going to keep it in the hollows of my cheeks because I already have really nicely defined cheekbones, so I'm not going to add any brand new structure to my face. I'm only applying this where I have the natural structure. This step is also not meant to be perfect, literally whatsoever, because we're gonna go in and correct this whole area with concealer. Now for concealer, I don't want to do too much because my face already has a beautiful layer of natural coverage that really does look like skin, so I want to mimic the same appearance for my eyes. I'm taking the MAC Studio Fix Smoothwear Concealer. This is in the shade NW30. I'm gonna take some on the back of my hand like so. I'm gonna use this tiny dense eyeshadow brush, take the concealer that has a warmer, orangier undertone, and I'm going to use this to color correct.
When you use a tiny, dense eyeshadow brush or any tiny, dense brush under the eyes to apply your concealer or color corrector, you are being so precise with your application, and you're essentially using less product whenever you apply it on the back of the hand like I did today. This is the way makeup artists usually apply concealer or foundation. They put it on a palette or the back of their hand, then they apply it to the client, so that way they're using as little product as possible to minimize cakiness and to keep the appearance of the makeup as natural as possible, and that's what I'm doing today.
I'm going to take a bigger, fluffier brush and make sure that everything is blended the way that I like. This brush that I'm using is the MAC 240. Now to add an extra layer of concealer, I'm actually going to go in with the same concealer, but in a brighter shade. This is going to be the opposite undertone. So this is an NC35. This new shade of concealer is NC35, which has more yellow, and this shade NW30 I used to color correct has more orange. So I'm going to go in with this yellow undertone, cooler concealer to highlight and conceal.
The technique that you see me doing here is called priming my brush. Now this is extremely important whenever you are applying under eye concealer, because if your under eyes look cakey, most likely you are not using the right technique or you're using way too much product. So anytime I need more product, I'm going back into my brush, priming it, and then whatever product is on the brush will be dispersed by the brush. So it is the brush's job to move around the product, and it's picking up whatever it needs. This is better than going in and just excessively applying concealer straight under your eyes, and then you're forced to blend it all out, and then your under eyes start creasing within half an hour. Now what I'm doing is taking any excess concealer on the brush and I'm using it to clean up any areas that I might have slight discoloration, and I'm taking that same fluffy, bigger brush to blend everything out and make sure that it looks as natural and seamless as possible. And I'm really taking the time to blend because blending is so important. Now you're able to see up close exactly how my skin looks. It almost looks like I'm not wearing any makeup, and that's the goal.
Okay, I'm absolutely loving my skin right now. Let's go into some cream blush. For a cream blush today, I'm going to use this ColourPop Super. For cream blush, I'm going to go in with this ColourPop Super Shock Cheek in the shade Growth Flirt. Going in with a nice, big, dense brush, and I'm going to lightly do a thin layer of cream blush. Using cream products will really add in the longevity of your makeup and help it have a more natural skin-like appearance because you're not using as many powder products. For the purposes of today's video, I'm going to leave the base routine like that. If you guys want another updated video on taking this foundation to the next level, taking this makeup routine to the next level, and have it be long-lasting all day and all night, I can absolutely do that. Just leave me a comment. It does involve a bit more steps, more techniques, and more product. However, I think it's so much fun. It really does elevate the look and takes your makeup to the next level in the best way possible. I hope you guys enjoyed this video so much, me sharing all of my favorite tips, tricks, and techniques to use this foundation, this amazing cream to powder foundation that is so slept on. And I hope you guys are going to check out my new technique and try it at home on yourselves with any dense fluffy brush that you have at home, or if you want to go out and purchase this brush that I used today, it is the MAC 109. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm so happy I made this video. Thank you so much for interacting with me, and if you guys want to see more makeup videos like this, techniques, I will gladly do it. I'll see you guys super soon in my next video. Please subscribe on your way out, and I'll see you guys super soon in my next video. Bye guys!